Ria, you need to.
Yes, as Councillor Kenny, who's the chair of this committee, is absent today, and four members to nominate a chair for this meeting. I nominate Liz Bannon. Second.
Oh, here we are. Yes. Thank you. We're not just starting. We're at minutes. All right. So, apologies. We've had a number of apologies today. Councillor Grace has been going to hospital. Any other apologies? Declarations of interest. If anybody has any declarations of interest, please mention them now or forever hold your peace. Minutes of the previous meetings. We're coming to that. There's the white paper minutes. They're circulated. Should those be agreed? I'll sign them. There's also, yes, sorry?
Sorry, Chair. Page 7, I think paragraph 7, where I spoke about reduction in derelict building fires. Just a slight adjustment because it reads as though I've said I've got a 23-acre site that's empty, sadly. Pontins is still there. So could we add Pontins in there? That's what I was referring to. Is that okay?
Is that agreed? So then there's the pink papers, the exempt minutes. Again, that's only for members. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
I'll sign both of those. So then we move to item 5. Item 5, item 4. Item 4 on this minute is the people plan, and that's page 11 to 70. Chief?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. PES's report is to inform members of the draft people plan for 2024 to 2027 has been produced and will now be subject to consultation with stakeholders, colleagues and representative bodies. It's recommended that members note the contents of the people plan and note that the draft plan will now be subject to 6 weeks consultation with key stakeholders, including our staff networks and our trade unions, our representative bodies. People plan itself forms the basis of probably a trilogy of documents for us: our community risk management plan, our medium-term financial plan, and then our people plan. And as members will know, people and culture has been very much at the forefront of the work and the focus of the fire and rescue service more latterly. The people plan describes how we are going to utilise our people across the whole of the organisation to deliver our community risk management plan and strategies to ensure the safety of the public. Not only that, it also reflects inwardly in regard to how we act and treat and behave from an organisational point of view to ensure that the place that we can create on our fire stations and departments is very, very inclusive and a place where people feel that they belong and they can really contribute to the outcomes of the service and deliver against our leadership message. The plan itself captures an introduction in regards to the things that are vitally important to us around our people and them being our greatest asset, and members will know they are, and you know, the impact that people who work in this organisation have in our communities is unprecedented, and again, members will recall I've shared an email over just this weekend which is kind of captured probably the lowest number of accidental fires that we've ever had across Merseyside, the lowest number of fire deaths, which is real testament to the whole organisation, but very much focused in on our people delivering in our community, and this plan to kind of enhance support and develop those individuals. The things that are captured within the kind of executive summary captures the broad intent of the service moving forward. And then the plan itself goes into some specifics really, which I'll draw members' attention to. On page 18, we talk about the core code of ethics, which has been introduced across the whole of the fire and rescue service sector in regards to probably predominantly putting our communities first, which is fundamentally being part of our leadership message for a long time anyway. Integrity, dignity and respect, absolutely, internally as well as externally, leadership and equality, diversity, inclusion. And what I would say is part of this people plan, there's also, there will be, when we release the documents following the 6-week consultation, there will be links directly to the equality, diversity and inclusion action plan, and there will be links to our cultural transformation plan as well, which will be captured more broadly in more specific detail in bespoke plans which reflect the ambitions of the service. It moves on then to talk about our leadership message and behaviours. Members will be familiar with this, and our aspiration to be the best fire and rescue service in the UK. One team, and again, collectively, I absolutely categorically mean that, the whole organisation working really hard to put its communities first, on the basis of being here to serve, here to protect, and here to keep the public of Merseyside safe. It goes on to capture our aims around protection, prevention, preparation, and response, and then the things that drive the way the organisation thinks and functions are captured under our service. So we are bold, professional, safe, built to help, positive and relentless in pursuit of improvement. And then our values are captured around courage, integrity and compassion, which again link back into the core code of ethics. We move off then to talk about our leadership behaviours. And so our values are one thing, but how did we exhibit those behaviours in the workplace? And we talk particularly now around personal impact, outstanding leadership, organisational effectiveness and service delivery. They are drawn from a national piece of work which kind of captures the intent. But then what we've done is kind of go on to explain how we deliver against those particular leadership behaviours, and we drill it down into some specifics leading yourself. So if you are a member of Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service in whatever role, how do you lead yourself? What's your expectations that the service has on you, or what, more importantly, the expectations you place on yourself? How do you lead others? So if you are a supervisory manager in this organisation, a first line manager, and how do you help and support others in their development, and how do you help them function? Leading a functional area, so how do we deliver against prevention, protection, response, and then how do we lead the service? And that's kind of captured within those leadership behaviours now, which starts to be explicit. We move on page 22 of the pack, page 8 of the document itself, to talk about code of conduct. It extends not only from an officer perspective, but also part of the Constitution in regards to the expectations that are placed on the authority members. It goes on to specify the ground rules around inclusivity, respecting and celebrating difference, tackling inequalities that exist, and not acting in a way that won't cause someone undue concern. And then the page 23 shows how we align those national drivers with our local leadership message and the behaviours and ground rules which we feel are important to ourselves. As we move through the report, it captures our equality and diversity and inclusion statistics as much as anything else, but certainly our objectives. The actual equality, diversity and inclusion action plan will detail in far more explicit detail. But the 5 objectives have remained pretty consistent for a period. However, if I draw you into talking specifically around difference, objective 4 has changed ever so slightly based on not only the views of members but the views of staff, to kind of talk about strengthening our cultural competence, our cultural understanding of the communities that we serve. So very much, we've been focused in on ensuring that we meet the Equalities Act and so on and so forth. But this is about reaching and understanding our communities better and enhancing our staff's knowledge and understanding of our communities, which are diverse and different. We go on to page 25, which talks about our benchmarking the service against other fire and rescue services, and equally our own local working age population around diversity. It goes on to specifically around ethnicity. It moves on then to talk about gender in relation to overall gender equality across the service, but then specifically around operational roles in a similar vein to that of ethnicity, and the details are captured. It references in the document itself some of the national drivers. So Her Majesty's Inspector of Fire and Rescue Services, their approach to improving the culture of the fire and rescue service more broadly, and what is important to them, what the findings that they've had from some of their cultural reviews, the national standards around delivering against the core code of ethics, operational learning, leading and developing people, all component parts. And then we move on to talk about our people plan themes, which are captured under the auspices of attract and retain the best people, develop exceptional people and leaders, promote a holistic approach to health and well-being, again referencing the safety and the well-being and psychological safety of our staff, deliver sector leading organisation performance, through our people, recognising that the effectiveness of the service is driven by the people who work within it, and then embedding the quality, diversity, inclusion part of strong organisational culture. The report then follows to kind of capture what that means. It cross-references against the HMI inspection areas and the national standards, and then moves on theme by theme to talk about what we have done and what we will do and how we will measure our performance across those thematic areas. And then on the latter pages of the report itself, it goes on to be more explicit and more detailed in regards to the action plan itself, and breaks it down into action owners and when that action will be discharged. So try to kind of take a people plan which results in real affirmative actions and improvements to the way we deliver our services to the public and how we look after our own people in the workplace. And as I say, it doesn't sit independently, it's underpinned by a cultural action plan and a quality, diversity, inclusion action plan, which will provide more specific detail as we move forward. What I would also draw members' attention to is an equality impact assessment, which is included as part of the appendices, which reflects positively on the actions contained within the plan itself, but to self-evidently the very focus of the action plan and the people plan is about improvements for the community of Merseyside and the people who work within the service. And so, notified that the quality impact assessment is explicit in that regard and is positive in that light. So, Chair, I'm happy to pause at that point and take any questions around the detail provided or anything more specific.
Thank you very much. We said last year and this year that we're in now that we would concentrate on cultural issues. This has been an issue in a number of other food service, London, some fire services. We would concentrate and demonstrate that for us this was a top issue of real concern. So that's woven through what it is that we're doing here. As we've said in that regard, this is not just about culture. But what we said in this regard is that we wanted Mersey fire staff to look like Mersey-sized population. We wanted the people at Merseyside to look at Mersey fire and say, yes, that looks like us. And that's what we're aiming towards. There's a lot in this. And our role here is to provide scrutiny, but also to know the standards against which we will monitor. And there will be scrutiny opportunities throughout the year for the subsets of the authority. This is the one of the committees, the standards, scrutiny and audit opportunities as well. Any specific questions on the paper before us today? Yes.
It's not a question really, it's more a comment. It's on page 17 of the Chief's written statement. And as soon as I read that, it stood out to me that I don't want us to measure ourselves on the performance of others. I want us to create our own culture, instills a real sense of belonging. And to me, that said everything. It's always been Merseyside leading the way.
The other thing is that we've got a training session coming up soon, which is about calling down and not walking past unacceptable behaviour. And I can't quite remember which day that is, but in the next couple of weeks there is a training day. Yes, that's it. Yeah. And that I recommend that to members. It's exactly the sort of thing that we want to do to ensure that we are leader of attitudes and a leader on behaviour, the whole of Merseyside.
25th of April.
25th. Thank you.
I didn't get that one, still talking about it.
No, there's a very good one, just plain saying Happy Easter. But there's a few interesting facts in there as well. And it's, yeah, I've had problems with mine as well. Google changed the security. It may be affecting me. Anyway, by the by.
So if I may just comment on Councillor Maloney's kind of comments about the executive, somebody, you know, as you can imagine, you know, given the kind of real focus on people for us and culture more broadly from the UK Fire and Rescue Service perspective, the latter part of that executive summary absolutely is, you know, the intent of the service moving forward. And, you know, and I kind of reference for, you know, for others, I want, you know, it goes on to say, I want us to genuinely hold ourselves to account. I want our leaders to lead by example, have a strong team focus and presence and a genuine interest in people. I want us to do the right thing when it's not easy. I want us to be able to be accountable for our actions and take responsibility for them. I don't want us to measure ourselves in the performance of others. I want us to create our own culture, one that instills a real sense of belonging. To do this, we need to be committed to participation, open to learn, driven by equality and fairness, and open to different views. I want us to celebrate difference, challenge poor behaviour, and be accepted when we get things wrong. This way, we will truly create a place where people belong. That is, in a kind of a form of word, that is absolutely what this fire and rescue service is about. And I've been here, as I said in the correspondence over the weekend, I've worked in this organisation for 34 years, and I've never seen this service more effective in regard to the service it delivers to the public, but equally in regard to the way that it behaves towards the people who work within it. There's still more for us to do. That is undoubted, but absolutely the people plan is that commitment. The action plan and the policy diversity inclusion plan underpin it, but the absolute intent is clear.
In regards to the gender benchmarking for this role, Home Office, where do public facing senior management roles fit in with that? Is that over all of the different categories or?
I'm following the question. So from our perspective, our senior leadership team, how does that made up?
All of our senior staff. We've only got a few, like in class, so all of our senior staff are all facing.
So if I was specific about
I'm sorry, what in terms of gender?
Yeah, so if I was specific about numbers in relation to strategic leadership team, we've got two members of the strategic leadership team, a female from a gender perspective. If I looked in regards to operational staff, which is more often not wrongly, but more often than not the focus for the inspectors, we don't necessarily look at the whole organisation, of which the whole organisation is 51% female and 49% male in that regard. However, if I look specifically at gender and describing what is the 13.4% of firefighters are female across Merseyside, which if you look at the Metropolitan Fire and Rescue Service benchmark, that's at 10.1%. If you look at England across the range, it's 8.8%. So we are significantly, we're doing significantly better than most of the fire and rescue services in relation to gender. When you break down that 82 individuals who are female who work within operational roles, we've got one group manager, 3 station managers, 11 watch managers, and 11 crew managers. So again, progression and moving through the organisation is reasonably okay. We can do better. We know that. But those figures will change as of the 1st of May this year because we've just concluded another supervisory management process. And so those numbers will increase in regards to female progression through the organisation too. So we are, it's still work in progress.
Yeah.
But we are supportive and developing and assisting and really focused in on improving those kind of figures from what they are, albeit they are still good in comparison with what the fire and rescue services across the UK.
I was just thinking about young people looking in. public facing role, they're probably going to see those individuals more than anyone else. And the data doesn't really reflect the senior public facing role, so is that something that could be added on in the future?
You have to help me out, Sue. As in,
You mean like our principal officers?
Yeah.
Our principal officers are all male, that's absolutely correct. This is,
The data doesn't really reflect.
it's how you cast these things, isn't it? Yeah.
so Chair, look, I come back, so whether, well, given this is the people plan, this is a very high level kind of overview really, when you get into the equality, diversity, and inclusion action plan, and then the subsequent report that follows, the action plan delivers it, and then it goes right specifically into the detail and the data.
Yeah.
So everything you are, everything you are asking for there, that is within the annual report that comes around equality, diversity, and inclusion, to break down the organisation into really lower level detail, so people can pick it up and understand exactly how the service is made up and the levels of, you know, and seniority and diversity of senior team as well.
Because it's very correct, that role modelling, the way that we can make ourselves look more like the community we serve is by role modelling. And so when I go to the fire conference, I'm always, one of the things I'm looking for is how many female and hard to reach community chiefs are there. And there's a growing number within the country of female, Black, Asian, Chinese, whatever, senior officers and principal officers, which is good for the service, because that is the case in the police, and that is the case in the military as well.
Yeah.
And we need to ensure that we are keeping pace with that change in society. And the change in society is that things are getting more equal, and so they should be vice versa. The recommendation, I think, is on page 11, at 2. Note the contents of the draft plan. And it will be subject to a 6-week consultation. Be reported back either to the office of the authority or the next meeting. And then it will be subject to the sort of statistical analysis that takes place after that. Yeah, Councillor Lane.
Just when it comes to that again, is there any possibility of something being put in from the trade unions as well?
It's the information that I'm the policy people plan, it's not the 5-year union people plan.
It would be good to talk to them, aren't we?
Yes, so their views, their views and the views of staff across the organisation will be incorporated into what comes back after, absolutely, that is within the shadow of doubt. And that will be the same for the community risk management plan as well, when that comes back as well, and they'll all be informed. It might not look exactly how it looks now, and certainly part of both of those, the CRMP and this plan, they will be turned into a document which is a lot more accessible and you know, and user friendly really. This is much of a draft for the council to get the views expressed. So yeah, trade unions, you know, the representative body will be forming and take part in that consultative process.
Right, is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. I think that is it. So I think our next meeting is a full authority meeting,
Yes, and the next meeting of this will be after the.
and then the next is the new disciplinary.